We're TSPN. And now TSPN News with Tom Slavik. Comprehensive news because in today's world, you need more than just sound bites. TSPN streaming on the World Wide Web and now on demand at TSPNTV.com. Hi everyone, Tom Slavik, and welcome to today's News in Depth. And today we'll be going through the Board of Supervisors agenda for tomorrow. That's on the 10th. All right, and I have with me Supervisor Richard Forster, District 2, and we've got a big agenda. To me, it seems like a big agenda, or very interesting items on it as well, Richard.
I think there is, but how are you today, Tom?
I'm doing pretty good, other than my, I'm wearing my glasses.
Yeah,
time to rest my eyes a bit.
Yeah. Well, first up, we have Dana Jorgensen's going to be in representing Senator Tom Berryhill and Assemblyman Frank Bigelow, and they're going to present a resolution, and this is Assembly Resolution 36, basically recognizing the California Association of County Veteran Services Officers that have been operating for 70 years. Specifically, this resolution will highlight Amador County and Terry Sanders, our Veteran Service Officer, who has been doing a fabulous job since he's come on board. Terry came to us, I think now about 3 years ago from Kings County as the deputy in that county for Veteran Services, and he's done a remarkable job. For him, it was kind of like coming home because he was raised in Calaveras County, and one of those people across the river who did very well in sports, and with the size of him, you can imagine why in basketball. But Terry's a good guy, spent 30 years in the military, and has come back to help veterans.
There you go, a Navy Master Sergeant, Major Chief.
Right, and that resolution will recognize our Amador County Veteran Service Office, which has been open now for 75 years. And as you know, we have a huge amount of veterans in our county. And Terry also helps the veterans from adjacent counties too. Okay. I know Calaveras County a lot come over.
I'm going to plug real fast. Wednesday, the Veterans Day Parade. Be sure to come on out and watch it or participate in it. And our next, Development of Water Measurement and Reporting Regulation, SB 88. This seems new to me. Is this something that's just come online, Richard? To have to report water usage?
Basically, this is something where the state is taking advantage of the drought, and in a big way. And what they're doing is taking all existing water rights, and now they're going to make them cumulative, that anyone with over 10 acre-foot of diversion per year has to report that, and in a lot of cases it'll have to be reported on a monthly basis, not a yearly or semi-annual basis. So all existing water right holders and anyone who diverts more than 10 acre-feet, that means if you have 2-3 ponds on your property that divert that water over 10 acre-feet, which isn't very much water.
Where would the water be diverted from?
Any channel. They think any channel that captures the water and it would flow naturally down into a watershed like the McCalmy River, that would be a diversion.
Okay.
I know the Vicinis, Merv and Kathy, have an argument with the State Water Board now. They're giving in basically because they have a knife at their throat, but they're giving in, and a lot of their water has been, some of the channels were created by hydraulic mining, and that water is basically a sheet flow that comes into the ponds. That's not supposed to be counted as a diversion, but the State Water Board is arguing it is. Well, how do you fight them? I mean, they've been told over and over again that how much money do you have, how much you want to spend to fight the State Water Board.
This is interesting because it's almost like the federal water grab, if you would, or whatever, of trying to collect all water and say that all water belongs to the federal government. Is this way California is coming in and also saying maybe no, it belongs to California?
This is just one more way for the state to come in and flex their muscles and say we are in charge of all the water, and you can't do anything without talking to us. File your paperwork. As it says in our report, the new reporting requirement is that your monthly diversions have to be reported to the state each year. Never been required before. So when we get out of a drought, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe they'll find that they're not as interested in all this.
Okay, so this could be possibly, I guess you're saying, like a person could look at this as a lawsuit, but it would cost an awful lot of money?
It's no lawsuit. I mean, this is a new law that's
No, I
coming
mean,
in.
people could sue under maybe a possible taking, or this is a new thing.
Well, that's the catch-22, because nobody has enough money to sue the state and the state water board, and that's what the Vicinis were told, basically, is that you can't afford to hire me, an attorney told them, because I charge $450, $500 an hour. The fight will go on and on and on, and you may end up losing in the end. Who has that much money to fight the state? So what people are ended up doing is reconciling with the state and just biting the bullet, paying the fine, or just paying the money
Okay.
to have their permits established.
So this is a regulation, SB 88, so this is just from the administrative side of the state? This wasn't a law that was passed?
Well, no, it is coming out of a law that's requiring this. All of these new things that are coming out are established by law, and they're directing the state water board to do these things. So in a lot of cases, you have state
What was the
legislatures.
law? I guess I'm saying from the state legislature. So maybe you're going to clear that up right there.
Well, but the state water board is advocating for these changes too. They just have to be codified in law. So you can't blame one without blaming the other. It's legislators who are being contacted by the state water board, and they're being asked to sponsor legislation. You know what? It's time for legislators to just say, is this right or is it wrong? They're not doing that.
Okay, let's move on.
Tree mortality.
Interesting to everyone, probably.
Yeah, this will be a big issue. State of emergency declared by the governor. We're waiting to see really how much teeth this is going to have, because is the governor going to stand behind this and actually direct funds to go into this project? I took a tour last Thursday of the forest area around Mariposa, and it is in horrific shape. You have, in most cases, about a 45% mortality, and a lot of that is a combination of the drought that's
Right.
come on, but the bark beetles have taken advantage of the drought, because in those drought years, you're not getting the hard freezes that are required to kill or suppress the bark beetles. So what's happened is they've just exploded. As was explained to me on the tour, they usually have 2 life cycles. In some cases now, bark beetles are going into 4 life cycles, which creates additional hundreds of thousands of bark beetles. And what happens is they're born, they fly from one area to the other, and they're just attacking the older trees, the larger diameter trees. They won't go after many of the young trees because they're too hard, and let's face it, it must not be their best meal. So they're going to the big fat trees, and they bore into the trees. They go right to the center. It's like if a person lost their bone marrow. That's what they do to these trees. They go right to the center, and they basically eat them from the inside out. It's horrific. 45% in most cases. There are areas that are progressively much worse than that. What I saw is there's areas that are 55 to 90% mortality.
Is the idea to get the trees out now to harvest them?
You can get the trees out, but there's a couple of things that are in play. I took some notes while I was over there.
Okay.
But PG&E is actually ramping up, if you consider it that. I mean, they said they're just scratching the surface. 2013, they were harvesting 30,000 trees. 2014, 50,000. 2015, they said their goal is 100,000 trees. The problem is there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands
of trees. That's not many trees when you look at the forest.
No, and they're around the Bass Lake area. They are concentrating around the houses. Very time intensive. You have to take your time. You have to go very methodically, because you're working around structures and people. And they said harvesting those trees, if nothing is done, it'll look just like this, like it does now, in a year. So the other thing, they're attacking the ponderosa pines. Those are their predominant tree of choice. There are other trees that are going to be affected, but this is really bad. If we need some really cold weather to come in to help suppress this thing, we need the rain that we're getting, but the rain alone won't do it. You need that cold weather. You need those hard freezes.
Okay.
The other thing that needs to happen is, and she allowed me to use her name, Nancy Corporich, the CAL FIRE unit chief from Madera, Mariposa, Merced stated everyone needs to take a role in this. The tour I went on had staff from the CPUC there, Public Utilities Commission, a board member from the Board of Forestry. You had a lot of the contractors that are involved. You had CAL FIRE on this tour. So as the unit chief said, everyone needs to play a role in this because, as we discussed briefly before the show, there's a lot of private ground too.
Right.
Most of it's forest ground, public ground, but a lot of private ground is involved
And is
too.
the goal to try to take as much of the trees out that are, is that
Right,
what they all see as the problem or the cure?
right now, there's no
Problem?
coordinated, clear effort. That's why they're convening a council in Sacramento. CSAC will be part of that. RCRC, I believe, will be part of that too. But they're convening a body to look at this and say, what do we need to do first? Because you don't want to just go in and guess. You need to go in systematically. There are some areas, frankly, that, and it's a bad word, but they're going to have to be clear cut. Because when you have an 80% mortality, you can't do much more than that.
Maybe give a quick answer. We only have 45 seconds, but will the tree, if the trees are beetled, are they still useful as lumber, timber?
The lumber is useful. That's the other problem. All of the lumber mills now are full.
Okay.
Because as you know, with the changes with the spotted owl, Amador County lost its mill. Many other areas lost their mills. We don't have enough mills now. We don't have enough biomass facilities to process all of this wood coming off. Some of the wood is bad. It turns a blue tint that is not useful. But the majority of the wood, when it comes down, is still useful. There's just not enough mills out there to take it all. They're all saying we're full.
So a lot of questions. We'll be back with more right after this break. So stay with us right
You're
here on
watching
TSPN.
Amador County's local television.